Thank you. Thank you for this very warm invitation to come to your institute. I think it's the second time I'm coming in, and I'm really honored. So I welcome you all also to this beautiful conclave, because when I was reading about it, my heart went a little trip, because nowadays this is the buzzword of what startup is, and when Sapna ji said that I'm young as ever when she's been seeing me, because I'm seeing the young entrepreneurs coming up, and it's a passion. It's really a passion for me to be able to, relate with you, and that's why I accepted to be here. And I go to a lot of universities all over the country, motivating them to start up entrepreneurship, and especially women. Especially women, I would like to see them being as budding entrepreneurs. So my hearty congratulations to the Institute for this conclave, for organizing this conclave, and I would like to see the exhibition after this, and whatever I can do to empower you or motivate you, and I'm all there for you. And even the Consortium is like a facilitating organization which welcomes you all wherever we can. We have mentorship and hand-holding plans, and where you can walk in and we can try and see where we can help you with. So the formal, I don't know, I was not supposed to be the first speaker, but so Lalit ji, namaskar, मैं आपको स्वागत करती हूँ, and Sapna, of course, you've been my, I can say a mentor. I've been knowing you for so long, and I'm waiting to hear Mittal ji, because मैंने बहुत सुना है आपके बारे में कि what a big industrialist he is, and I'm sure this is like a motivating factor जो उन्होंने किया. I think he'll share with you how is, and Dr. Deepika, welcome again. So I'm welcoming you. It's nice. I feel like I'm part of you. And the young boy Kartike who brought me this morning from Delhi to here, we had a lot of discussion on what was this all about, and how I was just trying to sense what he as a student feels about entrepreneurship. ये उद्यमी महिला हम लोग बोलते हैं, लेकिन जो ये उद्यम का जो एक पूरा एक मुहिम चला है, जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि Prime Minister had announced the entrepreneurship regime which is going to come, and why it was important. People will be talking to you why it is important, because we're talking about unemployment, we're talking about poverty. These are the two main issues we also have a major challenge towards. And I thought that entrepreneurship is the answer, is probably the only answer. And especially when I meet with women, I think for them entrepreneurship is, or self-employment as we call, or we started with the income generating activities at the rural level. But how did we just get the whole gamut? And as Sapna ji said, how do we create this ecosystem for startups? Because all of you who are here are probably already motivated, and you have the awareness of what is entrepreneurship. But how easy is it? I mean, when we're talking about this ease of doing business, how easy is it to start? I mean, that is what the first challenge is. What would you do? How would you choose your project? When you're talking about the business competition, that would be the first thing. How feasible, how viable it would be. I think Mr. Mittal ji will also agree that, what we did in our times, I'm also around 25 years back, we all started, and I was the first women entrepreneur by science and technology. I was given 100 rupees. That was a big amount of money to take up entrepreneurship as a career. Because that time it was not the buzzword, entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship. So I was given a chance, but I had a lot of hand-holding, a lot of mentor support. And EDI, Ahmedabad, I'm a product, and now I was on the governing council also, EDI. But that's how it has been, because for women, I think it's very important that somebody backs you up and you have this entire ecosystem. But now everything is on a silver spoon. I think the government is giving you so much of incentive to start up. The DIPP has so many schemes where we are wanting people to come up and start their own enterprises. And I want to bring in a very important point here, which we are doing now, is what is the ethics or a responsible business ethics, I would say, or why would you choose a business as a startup? I think for me, my one message to you would be, I mean, the responsible word which I used, the sustainable word which I want to emphasize, because whatever you do, whatever kind of enterprise or business, service, product, project, technology, it has to be sustainable, not only for you, but for the environment and for the community. That's why when I talk about a large community, I talk about group entrepreneurship, I talk about clusters, I talk about women in very large numbers who are doing such good work at the grassroots level, but they've not been recognized. And we're taking a lot of mention of these unorganized sector, and we're trying to bring them into through the micro, we're bringing them into the formal sector. Why it's important is so that they can leverage all the government schemes and programs by being in the organized sector. So we need to register. Aapne wo Udyam Aadhaar suna hoga. I think that's the first step you should do, is register on the Udyog Aadhaar. If you have an Aadhaar card, you can go and register at Udyog Aadhaar. And so you get a registration number, and so you are a provisional person if you want to get into any kind of business, services or technology or a manufacturing process. And that brings you into a formal system. And then you open up to all the government schemes and programs which are all lined up. And they're such beautiful schemes which have come out for promoting the startups. The second thing I was just coming to is we've started this thing, what you call intellectual property rights. I think you all must have heard about IP. Yeah, so IP is a very important component when you start your business in the formal regime now. See, because we have, as Sapnaji said, entrepreneurship we are lagging, but in IP we have jumped 500 times from last year. We have done so many campaigns in universities and colleges, especially for researchers, researchers and technical institutes. The intellectual property is a property which you should admire your intelligentsia. This is your intelligence. बौद्धिक संपदा बोलते हैं हम इसको. आपकी बुद्धि से, जो विचार से जो आप पनपते हैं, उसको आप enterprise बनाते हैं, that is your बौद्धिक संपदा. उसको हमें protect करना through intellectual property. And that is also one of the government schemes where they're trying to bring in more patents, you have to bring in more, and even your company trademarks. I mean, that you have to register as your logo, as your rights, because nobody should be able to copy. So under one of these IPs, when we're going to the Women Institute especially, and to the clusters, we're doing a lot of geographical indicators. Why I'm trying to tell you is because these are the functional realities of life which we are facing. When we go to these clusters, we have about 250 clusters in our country. And these clusters are the micro entrepreneurs, but they are in very, very large numbers, over 2,000 self-help groups with 10 people each in a group, and the group leaders, and they're doing such beautiful work of crafts, art, leather, jewelry, I mean, you could name it, even organic farming and all now, which is the in things they're doing, and now we have to protect them, because what our ethos, cultural identity is through these geographical indicators, and we have this under the IP regime, and we are taking them internationally. There is another very good component which has been joined in, is responsible or ecotourism, where we're bringing in people. The growth of the village would be through the responsible tourism. That means the community itself becomes so self-sufficient and brings in the power to bring in the buyers to come to them, and not the other way around. So it's like a model village, जैसे Abdul Kalam ji ने बोला, पूरा bringing the urban amenities to a rural area and making it self-sufficient. So this whole ethos is helping the localization and globalization of local products. The products are up to the mark, and they have standardization there now, which was not there earlier. So now this entire concept of going up to these 3-tier and to the village level communities, that's also one of responsible businesses which you should do. You should think at what kind of services, projects, technologies you would be able to pass on and help the others in the community. So my focus, I know the others would talk about all business ethics and how you can get finance. I know it's a very important subject, marketing, finance, technology. These all you would be doing in your theoretical work. But I wanted to bring this little element. I was at the UN Environment Assembly in Singapore just in January. So we had all the Asia Pacific region heads would come there. And they were all talking about climate change. They were talking about sustainable consumption. You know, we're not talking about sustainable consumption, we're talking about sustainable production. But consumption भी तो है. हम लोग क्या consume कर रहे हैं, कितना कर रहे हैं? Is it over consumption? You know, when we're talking about responsible business, especially in the garment industry, there's so much. I mean, so much of buying we're doing, but are we using it that much? That I just wanted you all to think about it. कि आप जब खरीदने जाते हैं, are you buying it for a necessity, or you buying it for a luxury, or what are you going to do? So this whole concept of don't use which is not reusable, you know, which you cannot use again. I brought in some samples which were given at Singapore. The entire whole slogan of the whole city when all of us were there, that you know, just don't even paper waste. You're not using paper now anymore. Not to use. So we're going back certain times कि जब हम लोग brass and metal and everything, glass, we were just discussing कि you know, plastic waste, we were just discussing what's happening. So there's another very important thing, if you know, responsible producer. There's a whole regimentation which is coming under a law now that we doing this same in the Himalayas. When we go up the Himalayas, you will find Lay's packets of chips, you will find Bisleri bottles, you will find sweet wrappers. So we are marking those. Which are the companies who are producing these kind of non-degradable products? So that's the responsible producers, and they would be taxed for it. ठीक है, consumer is taxed because वो फेंक रहा है. I agree with it, we should not do that. But now there's another regimen which is coming that world over, they're saying the producers have to be very responsible on what they're doing. I just went to a village in Vietnam. It was a small village where the rural women were doing a lot of things. And you know what they were making is sweet wrappers. They were made of rice paper. And you know, you could eat it if you want to eat it. Otherwise, even if you throw it, the cows or buffaloes or whoever eat are not going to poison their stomach. They're not going to be toxic. So similarly, in the business plan, I wanted you to think about things like that. There was another which a lady is doing, and we are mentoring her. She's making eatable plates. You know, they make of simple atta. These plates are what? These plates are, you can eat, or you can even bite at it because it's a little sweet, so it's like a cake. And you can even, if you throw it, if you happen to throw it, it's not going to harm anybody else. I mean, these are the kind of little, very simple things which are coming up. Then there's eco-farming. Eco-farming में क्या हो रहा है? These are just examples I want to read aloud. कि if supposing a community stays together and everybody buys vegetables of 200 rupees every day or 100 rupees, the whole community you know, collects that कि हमें 100 रुपए का सब्जी रोज चाहिए या milk चाहिए, and a community farmer says, okay, we will supply you every day from that amount of money. So it's kind of that you're not wasting anything. He's going to supply you fresh vegetables from a farm nearby. This is a women's enterprise which has got the business award, and she's got funded by a good venture capitalist also. So it's like a community. And similarly in Singapore, they took us to this Tampine hub, which is completely by the people, of the people. It's a huge responsible business model of people living together cohesively, and even having the children to be involved in the entire ecology, environment, water harvesting. Every child knows about how to, you know, because water is very precious in Singapore. So every drop of water, usko kaise use karna hai, kaise religiously. Toilets, very less amount of water is used in the toilets, and it's self-flushing. You know, they're very small elements of things which we have to start thinking about. पानी कैसे करें, energy, solar. Solar, we have so much of sun, but we've never been able to utilize. We're doing this in the model village where not electricity, but just solar. वो solar अपने लिए use करेंगे, plus they will the maximum which they don't use, they give it to the grid. So they're selling that solar also to the grid. So this is a business model, but you're saving energy. Whether it's gobar gas or solar, these are the kind of things. They're using solar cookers, they're using solar lanterns. Solar is now even for rural electrification. And it's also for cooking, because now LPG again, LPG is good, but we're importing a lot of LPG. So can we do away with it and use some of it localized? Localized electricity. Then waste management is another very big thing, which is, you have to look at what kind of recycling you're doing. In the other competition, there was somebody who said we're making plastic recycling and making t-shirts out of, I don't know how viable it would be, but they're making jerseys, because jerseys are made out of polyester yarn and something like that. So he has recycled. Yes, but he is at least trying. But whatever you see now, whatever you will do, has to have a long-term repercussion. So you don't do anything for today. You have to think of whatever solutions we came up with might have another problem later. So don't think of it as a problem solving now, but think of the whole sustainability for a long run. These were the kind of things which I had and I wanted to share with you. I think I don't have too much time, but maybe some other round of interventions we could do. You're most welcome to ask me answers. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.